Hello, everyone, and welcome to Alive to Thrive, Living Spiritually with Cancer. I'm Carolyn Taylor, and today we're going to talk about part 2 of support systems. Part 1 was talking about traditional support systems, the pluses and the minuses, and you identifying who's in your support system. Empowerment, yes. Today we're going to talk about surprisingly non-traditional support systems that I never knew existed. Some of them are going to be out there. I can promise you that everything I'm talking about, I have personally tried, and you decide for yourself what's going to work for you, but this is kind of fun. I do want to say right up front, I'm not a medical doctor or any kind of medical professional. I'm not a therapist. I'm not selling anything. I simply want to share to you a non-traditional surprise support system that I never knew existed. Okay, get ready for this one. It's called YouTube. And for those of you that are older, you're going, what? For those that you are younger, you're going, yeah, so tell me something I don't know. I was really surprised to find out that I needed an emotional support system 24/7. I sometimes needed something or someone to talk to 2 in the morning, Mother's Day, Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, during Eid, whatever it was. And that all of the traditional support systems a lot of the time are 9 to 5, particularly if you're talking healthcare workers, caregivers, professional people. And with neighbors and friends, they kind of have their 9 to 5 too. If they're working, they're not going to be available 24/7 when you need them. So when you say who's available 3 in the morning, that wonderful list of traditional support suddenly dwindles down to my dog. Okay, that's okay. And your dog or your cat will get you through. But here's some new ideas. And I never really did any of these things until I had cancer. So once again, I have tried every single thing that I'm talking here about, and none of them hurt. I promise you that. So here we go. First one is meditation. We've all heard about meditation. We all know the wonderful pluses and minuses for our immune system, our brain, our soul, our body. Do it. It's just that simple. And I found that there were so many rules and all different ways to do meditation, and everybody had their own proper way to do it. Your feet had to be flat on the floor and your hands were out. Well, I decided that when I'm in a hospital bed doing immunotherapy, my feet aren't going to be touching the floor. I got to meditate anyway. And I started meditating, and I closed my eyes, and I started weeping. And I just realized, wow, this really isn't good. And my eyes started tearing, and then they started flowing, and my nose started snotting, and then I started sobbing, and I thought, wow, this isn't meditation. And it wasn't, because I realized that when I was in the middle of therapy with a needle in my arm, not wanting to be there, that meditating and closing my eyes was my way of, unfortunately, feeling my own pain. And it was not about clearing my mind, but it was accentuating what was going on. And for part of my first meditation, I was actually planning my own funeral. And that was the first teardrop that came out. And then it just continued from there. And I just decided that there is value in meditation, and I promise you there is. Your feet do not have to be flat on the floor. You don't even have to close your eyes. If possible, you can go for a walk and listen to birds and dogs and nature. That's meditation. One of the things that I started doing, because I wasn't terribly mobile, is that I'd light a candle and just stare into the flame. And I just remember that was comforting. That's meditation. If it clears your brain and clears your soul and just creates space so that you can let new thoughts and things happen, that's meditation, and that's okay. I call it candle meditation. And it's not unsimilar to watching a fireplace, because we all just sit and mesmerized by fireplaces, not realizing that that's meditation. It's just this peaceful, quiet place that your soul goes to, and it feels good. That's what meditation is. If you want to get into the more lotus position and uncomfortable things and get a mat, please do that. There's tons on YouTube, free meditations, guided meditations, meditations for sleep, meditations for healing, meditations for cleansing. You find what feels comfortable with you. You tune into that voice that you like to hear. You tune into that, and you can do that any day of the week, 7 days a week, 24/7. It doesn't matter, free of charge for you, for the asking. Please try it. Please just set aside any older ideas that you have, or just, I can't do that, I've never done it. Yes, you can, and it'll feel good. I promise you that. Eventually it will. Maybe not the first time, but you'll get there. Some other amazing new things that I never knew about, and you'll see all these on my view graph here. Tapping, EFT, emotional freedom technique. And that is very simple things, just tapping and tapping. And I just kept thinking, well, what is this about? What is this about? And what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? Should I feel something? And so I decided I needed to learn more about it because I didn't believe that just tapping parts of my body would make me feel better. And I actually did some research. And what you're doing when you're tapping is hitting your meridian energy centers. But what you're doing is opening those channels and saying it with an intention. It can be, today is going to be a really good day. I'm going to feel better today. Why isn't my chemo working today? I don't know. It's working. I really believe that it's working, and I'm going to continue to do this and keep doing it and keep doing it. And I tried it, and I thought, well, this is dumb. And then whatever that intention was that day, I think it was creativity. At the end of the day, I found that I had written something. I thought, wow, this does work. It's not like a lightning bolt strikes you going, it happened now, there you go, there's your intention, you feel really good today. But it's just the subtle opening of your body and of your mind, and they're working together. And so much of chemo, your body and your mind aren't working together. I know mine weren't. The thought of putting chemo in my body did not make my brain happy, and it didn't bring joy and saying, oh, this is good. And I know that was my attitude and my problem, but I found that I needed to add a way to combine my mind and my body together, and that I set the intention. And it's amazing because it's very subtle, and you can go on YouTube, once again, free of charge, free, and you actually get to experience what this is. Try it. It doesn't hurt, I promise you. Just simply tapping meridian points on your body does not hurt. You send the message you want to send to yourself, so that you can do guided ones and listen to other people how they do it. But eventually, if you want to say, radiation's not going to hurt today. Nope, that therapy today, it's really not going to, today's going to go really well. And you might be surprised at the end of that tapping session, at the end of that day, it really did go well. Give it a try, as strange as it sounds. There's now science and clinical trials behind it. I promise you, there's something behind it. You just have to give it a try. Another thing that's free of charge, and it's all up to you, and that's journaling. And sometimes people that don't express themselves verbally, or you just have inner thoughts that you just don't want to say out loud to anybody, that's where journaling comes in. You, your piece of paper, and your pen. There's nobody between you and those thoughts and what's in your heart, and you can really let that out. The fears, the good part, the funny parts, and there are funny parts, trust me. Cancer can be ridiculously funny if you let it. And I just think it's important to capture that moment if that's where your release comes from. Don't have to show it to anybody. You don't have to be embarrassed. You don't have to worry about what you're saying. If you're having a down day or an up day, it really doesn't matter. It's all about you, and it's a release. And that's what this non-traditional support system is. 2, 3 in the morning, you want to pull up that journal with a pen and paper. You know what? Go for it. No one's going to stop you to do it. The other thing that I never tried before, and I did with cancer, is sound healing. And I found it powerful. Once again, there is science behind it. And I found that I did it in person where it really became very intense. You can do it on YouTube, and it's free, so you get an idea of what it is. But I found that the sound waves actually washing over your body is something that's very intense. And that the lower tones, my understanding is, such as the didgeridoo and the gong, yes, there's a didgeridoo and gong, those sound waves over your body are deep, and they break up your cells. They break up they break up cancer cells. They break up the normal regulation of your cells. They don't like this loud vibrating sound, this new energy that's coming at them, and it makes them pause and kind of not work as well. And then as you get to the higher sounds, that becomes the lighter and the healing part of it. And it's all part of your body connecting with your body. And that's part of cancer that I found a hard time to reconnect with my body in a positive way. Exercise was just out of the question for me. I wish it weren't, but it was. And so that I needed other ways to stimulate my cells and to stimulate my body to connect with my mind and my soul that didn't deal with lifting weights or working out in a gym. And sound healing is kind of like letting someone else massage your body with sound, and you can just lie there and let that healing and wonderfulness wash over you. And the big thing that I found about sound healing is it made me feel good. And I did it for the first time when I was in the middle of my chemo, just very, very ill. And I remember for the first time in weeks, I slept that night. It was this calming peace that came over me. Like the cells in my body had to work out. The ones that I didn't want there died. And so we all just rested really well. Fabulous. I love it. Massage, that's another thing that is just so healing to once again get in tune with our body in a positive way. And yes, you can go pay someone to do that. That's always good. And if you're not ready for that, they have those little handheld massagers that you can put even on your neck or just wherever you feel that stress, in the back of your neck or even the palm of your hands. There are YouTube videos also that show you where there are pressure points, that if you have a headache or you want to calm down, you press pressure points just right in the palm of your hand and just do simple things. You can do this for yourself. The middle of the night, you feel stress and tension coming on, go ahead and do that. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost anything unless you want to go during the day to get a massage. And it's that simple little thing. And there's lots of wonderful YouTubes. And you can actually imagine, oh, someone's massaging my neck right now. This feels really good. And it does, because your mind goes there. And that's the other thing that you can do as part of this totally non-traditional 24/7 visualization. And that is a therapy that you actually go to counselors to do. But what I'm talking about is visualization. Oh, I see myself on a mountain. I see myself climbing that mountain. I see myself swimming, sitting at the beach. I feel the sun in my skin. I'm breathing in the ions from the water, and it just feels so good. That's visualization. So for 3 minutes, you don't think about your cancer. You're thinking about where you are in your head. Yes, you can do that professionally. They have guided visualizations on YouTube, free of charge. If you want energy, do you want revitalization, do you want sleep, do you want healing, do you want to find love, whatever you want, you can find a visualization on YouTube that's going to match whatever you need that day, free of charge. I love it. Please consider these things, because when you combine them together, it just gets better and better. Okay, I'm going to admit that I did not know what ASMR was, and I'm going to give it to you because it actually stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. There we go. I know it is ASMR. And I thought it was the most silly thing I'd ever heard, where people crackle packages, they will blow in your ear, they'll pretend to like brush your hair, they'll whisper very quietly to just keep you calm. And I just thought, this is really silly. And I just remember waking up, just going, oh my God, here we go again. And one just struck me as like, oh, that is soothing. I like the way she crinkles that paper. I like the way they brush the microphones with the little fuzzy things on them. It is surprisingly addictive and calming. And I do have to warn you, most of them are female. Some of them will wear low-cut items, some of them don't. You get to decide who you like and who you find comfort with. But there is something about our brains that just like to be talked to, like you talk to your dog. Oh, isn't he a good boy, good boy, good boy? That's kind of what they're doing in a grown-up way, and I like it. I have to admit that I never would have guessed that it was something that I would find comfort in, and I do. There's somebody out there for you. I know that. You don't have to like the first or second or third one that you listen to. There's some amazing people out there, and they're actually professionals that will do this, and you'll see the difference. Someone that's just trying to get your attention versus someone that really is taking this seriously and wants to give you this experience of a brain massage that you've never felt before. And you're going to find your way through that. I know it. The final one does involve needles and maybe a little bit of money, but I swear by it, and that is acupuncture. Acupuncture helped me so much to deal with my side effects. I remember my feet and my hands going completely numb. I was flapping like a duck. I couldn't walk, and I just didn't know what to do. And I knew it was my medication. My doctor told me, and I asked them what I can do, and they said, well, we can give you medication for it, but there'll be side effects of the medication I'm giving you that you have the side effect already from the chemo. I thought, wow, let's just bring on the drugs, and I didn't want to do that. And so I did do acupuncture. And I remember going in there with my hands and my feet freezing cold and numb, felt nothing. And after my acupuncture session, my feet were burning hot. I mean, I had to go barefoot because my feet were so burning. There was so much circulation going on. The nerve endings were clicking, and my hands, I could just feel it. And it's not a one and done. You actually have to go in a series of these depending on how deep your neuropathy is and how quickly you get in. But I can tell you from my personal experience, it's the best thing I've ever done. I still talk to friends on chemo years later who still have neuropathy in their feet and their hands. They tried medicine or they didn't do anything. They tried to ignore it and they have permanent damage. By acting and reacting as quickly as I could, I can honestly say that upon occasion my hands will get cold. I do not have neuropathy. My feet are working. I have happy feet. I teach Zumba and my hands are just fine, thank you. So if you've never tried it, please just consider this modality that is maybe more traditional than the other things that I've mentioned, but it's really very helpful with in the right hands of the right practitioner. And if they do it right, it is not painful. The needles that they use they don't go deep, and they do not hurt like immunotherapy or other things that we're not going to talk about. So please give it a try if you would. These are just some of the things. I know that there's Reiki, which is an amazing healing system where no one actually touches you. They just lay healing hands and energy, and they'll flow their hands up and down your body, and they can sense where there's blockages, and they will focus on that. And then when they find where the blockages are in your energy system, they'll come and pluck it. And with fake scissors, they'll let it go so that they pluck and they pluck. There's something so mesmerizing about this. I did it on YouTube for the number of Reiki practitioners that I love, and I loved it. I thought it just makes so much sense, and I just started saying, okay, I'm getting rid of neuropathy, pluck. I'm getting rid of my negativity, pluck. I'm getting rid of my caregiver, pluck. And suddenly it kind of became a game, like, well, what am I letting go of? But it's more than a game because it is releasing, and once again, it's mind and body working together in tandem to lighten your load. And that's what I'm here to do. I do want to say that there are counselors on demand 24/7. You can pay. There's a variety of different fees. So that if you feel you really, really need some deep, deep help, you can go on YouTube, you can go on the web and get professional counselors who are trained to walk you through the feelings, everything that you're going through. And if you need that, they're there 24/7. Which ones of these have you tried? And my challenge is to try at least two new ones that you've never tried before, and find out if it is something that gives you an opening into getting through this whole thing called cancer. If you feel emotionally supported in a really weird way you never thought before, I can promise you that it helped me in ways. It still makes me smile because I know it's not who I was before and probably wouldn't have tried a lot of these things, but they all work. And I'm not saying I just do one. I've tried them all. And if you want to add in the comments below other things that I should try, please let me know, because I'm totally open to whatever's going to work to give us the emotional, physical, and spiritual support that we need and deserve on our journey. Namaste, dear ones. Thank you.